Welcome back to another episode of The Real Teachers of Atlanta. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. We have our special guest, Mr. Coleman. Woo!
Oh my God.
Ting, 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 ting. We're talking about, he hates when I do that, old school teaching versus new school teaching. Whoopsh.
Let's get into it.
We got the queens in the house, y'all.
I am Mrs. P. Smith, the Mama Bear at school, your favorite ELA and SPED teacher, but always teaching my students about business.
I'm Miss Rose, commonly known as the snarky teacher, always ready with the good candy. The kids say I'm their favorite math teacher. After school, it's lights, camera, action. During school hours, it's Miss Carter, the life science teacher saving lives.
We got the queens in the house, y'all.
All right, so old school teaching versus new school.
So you all are a little bit older than me. So
Now that you got that out the way.
no,
Yes,
for real.
we are.
What was old? Because
I'm gonna give you my take on old school versus new school. The students that come out of the old school, they are the ones they are a lot more successful today.
Why is that?
Because in old school, discipline was in the school versus new school.
So what type of discipline are we
Oh
talking
my
about?
gosh,
Paddling. So,
boy, let me tell you something.
what does that look like? What is the process of?
You act out in the classroom,
Okay.
and what they do, they come down there and give you a warning. All right, and of course, me being the child that I was, I didn't give a damn about no warnings. I go there and did it again. So then I get sent to the office, and they have you come back there in the principal's office, which was always it was all like a little dark little box room that you walking into, and had this big fat desk in the front. And when you walk in, you see that paddle sitting on the desk, and the paddle was probably about this, maybe about that long. But we had this one particular principal, boy. We did not want to get hit by him. Now, when you know you got a dude with 2 first names, you know you're in trouble. I can call his name. I mean,
don't call his name.
Okay, I can call his name. But he got 2 first names. And when you got in trouble, and you go in there with him, and on top of that, he was the football coach. And boy, he had a paddle in there. It had holes all in that thing. And all I can think about when I go in there, I said, boy, them holes finna put an implant on my ass. Because he'll tell you to stand in there, turn around, put your hands on the table.
What?
It was almost like you was in, it's like they're teaching you, this is what it's going to be like when you get arrested. Because you had to put your hands on the hood or something like that. You put your hands down, you bend over. Now, the whole time, you already know it's going to go down there. When they grab that paddle, you already, you turn your ass sideways trying to hope you miss it. But really, I found out, I got so many paddlers, I found out you don't want to move too much. You kind of want to just be still.
Wait, let's pause right there. So you were an expert at being paddled?
I got them all the time. I got paddled all the time. Me and my boy, we was just the class clown. We used to play around all the time.
Now, did you have to pull?
So was this in middle school or elementary school?
In middle school and high school. I didn't get them in elementary. But I found out in the paddling, you don't want to twitch. Because when you twitch, they hit that one side so hard.
Get that bone.
Ooh. And then you go back to the classroom after you're paddling. And sometimes they give you, depending on the offense of what you did in the classroom, you might get 1 lick. And then it goes to 3 for the medium offense, and then 5. So, and I look at it, because as later on, I've been able to look at it like, oh man, that's like a misdemeanor up to a felony. So it's kind of like the same concept when you go in there and get your paddling. But after several paddlings, I began to pan out. You know, in high school, I kind of panned out a little bit because I started getting into the girls and stuff like that, you know. So I wanted to be Mr. Cool Dude, you know, trying to walk around. But back then, I think a lot of our success has come from that, even though it wasn't a joyful experience. But a lot of my friends that I went to school with, a lot of us are businessmen now. businessman, doing really well, taking care of family, you know. I mean, and that's another thing I got to say on that. You know, we managed family well, you know, coming out of that era because in the old school, but you see, life lessons wasn't given. See, it wasn't given to us on a silver platter, in a tissue way, like, oh, well, come on, you just do this. No, you got barked at. Versus new school right now. Oh, they want to try to pamper you. They want to try to make some excuse for your behavior. You got AD. Ain't no AD. I ain't never heard no such thing as that back in school.
We ain't had no ADH,
man, ain't none of that.
SLD, BE,
Put a belt on that ass, and it's done.
Here we go.
We ain't had none of that.
None of that. We ain't had no.
The most at best that you had was on when you put the kid on the Ritalin. What was that?
Ritalin, yeah, supposed to calm you down.
I think 80. One of those.
But they ain't, I don't even know if
disorders.
they call it ADD. You just know that you need to get put
That
on
Ritalin,
Ritalin.
trust me, they had my child on Ritalin. I know what it is. It's supposed to calm you down. That was supposed
They
to
tried to put my little cousin on that, and I told my uncle, you're not putting him on that.
It wasn't no such thing as medications back in the day. That medication was that paddle and that belt. Because when you got a paddle in school, when I go back home, I got my ass whooped again.
Right.
Because my mom and my daddy wasn't having
the
it.
parents showed up.
Yeah.
And back to the paddling piece. I got paddled in elementary school.
You got
no.
I'm not. So I cannot remember why I got paddled. Back then, everything was not black and white in my school. But you know, there was a white man that paddled me. He's a well-known principal back in my school. And I feel a little traumatized now that I think about that. My mama let a white man paddle me. Based on, this given light. But I cannot remember what did I do. But he had to call and get permission. And my mother gave him the permission to do so.
Did you have to your parents have to call and get permission, or they just did it?
No, they just did it.
But yours, they had at your school, they had to call.
They just
and
did
your
it.
mother allowed that? She did.
And then on the you get a referral.
On
Remember
top
the referral?
of the
The referral, the little pink paper you get after you're paddling for your misconduct, and you had to take it home to your parent and have it signed. And if it wasn't signed, you get your ass paddled again.
I don't remember.
God.
But
I remember that.
I'm just
that was
so
traumatic,
they had
I'm sure.
because if they would have asked my grandma, I'm for sure it wouldn't have went down. So I don't even know how that even happened. I don't even know what I even did to get that. But that was the only time ever I had received that.
How did you feel?
One time? Yeah, like was it one time or that?
You had 2
I
swipes.
think he hit me about 6 swipes.
What did you?
I'm
6?
sorry. I got something else on my mind. But about 12 years a slave, no baby.
Dang.
No, I think about twice at best.
So how did you feel after that?
I mean,
I bet them cakes was warm, wasn't it?
What it was?
The cakes, they were warm.
Got my little.
Did you hear what he said?
I ain't studying Coleman.
Okay.
Got my little pat and went on back to class.
But
Now,
was it hard or?
here was my thing. When you went to class, were you able to sit down?
Yeah.
I sat down.
See, I wasn't.
Oh,
I had to stand
got
up.
you real good.
That thing was warm, boy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I am glad that they decided to. That's one thing they took out of school that I'm glad, because I don't think that. I mean, but that's when we go back into the old days of village raising our children. I guess that was part of the village.
That was it.
Yeah, because when you got home, your parents just did the same thing over and over.
That's
you got
true.
the reinforcement that was at school.
And we didn't have a lot of these cases of us acting a fool.
No, you didn't.
When we had
It wasn't.
things like that going on.
Because you knew the neighbor was going to give you a whooping, the person down the street, the ice cream
everybody
lady.
down the street.
Everybody.
But by the time you act a fool down the street, it was already back at your
Oh,
house.
yeah.
Because they done call. And your parents didn't, or your, especially the grandma,
There's
back
no
then, they didn't let
community.
you know who
And see, the
told
thing
anything.
is, the new school, they call that being soft because you got
Snitching.
2 parents in the home raising your child or whatever. And you coming out to be the way you are. You coming out somewhat successful, getting a good job or whatever, making your money or whatever. But to me, I don't look at that as soft. I look at it as, handling your responsibilities. Versus, what the one that sit back there calling soft, them the one that's going to jail, in the graveyard, because you're more focused on about, ain't nobody finna handle me. Well, you got to be handled by somebody at some point.
That's right.
Because that's the only way you're going to be guided in the right direction. Even in life right now, we experience challenges that guides us in the right direction.
And there's nothing to actually prepare students or the youth for the challenges in life. They don't have to actually go up against something and then have the tools to figure out, okay, how do I navigate through these different types of situations? Because, you know, in school, we're focused on their social, emotional. How do they feel? Well, let's talk to them like this. And you don't have to be, you know, punitive to a child, of course, but you got to tell them what it is, what reality is, and stop kind of, you know, coaxing the child and babying them. And I think that that's kind of where school is now, where it doesn't have to be as extreme as the paddling, but I think that students still need to have some type of consequence for their behavior. And parents aren't whooping their kids anymore like they used to.
Definitely not whooping their kids.
They're not whooping the kids.
And the kids are too soft. The kids that are coming up now, they may be wiser, but they are too soft. Like they
can't go through nothing.
Like we were bullied. We had bullies. We ain't try to go home and, you know, harm ourselves, you know. Not to saying that bullying is right, but nowadays when a child get bullied, you know, they become suicidal. Not only that, when we talk about sports, the way we came up in sports, you know, I coach basketball and volleyball. They ain't got no work ethic. We ran. Our parents didn't come to the gym and watch us practice. What? Because our coach talked to us like trash. Called us stupid and fools and everything else. Like, you do that now, you're going to lose your job. But
I think that's just part of just building you up, though.
I said all that to say.
At the end of the day,
I just feel like it builds you up. You need that.
Yeah.
You need somebody that's going to be hard on you, man. I mean,
well, now they call it hazing now, you know, when you verbally.
Yeah, they got a name for everything.
They got a name for everything, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. It does build character. Because, I mean, when you get out in society, people are going to call you all types of things. How are you going to deal with it? Can you focus on the image and the inner talk that you have of yourself? Or are you going to allow for everybody on the external to kind of guide what you're trying to do?
And that's why people that know me, they say all the time, like, man, you got a calm nature. They say that all the time, calm. I mean, but I'm just calm because I got my ass beat so many times when I was young. You know, it just ain't nothing now. You know, when you see stuff going in the world out here, it just nothing. I ain't talking about like fighting a lot. I'm talking about just getting in trouble with the school or my parents, whatever. You know, they stayed on me so hard growing up. And like now when I'm out here experiencing life, it's just that, all right, you know, well, that ain't nothing. Oh man, you ain't gonna say, I ain't got nothing to say. What I'm gonna say? You already fixed on what you got on. So I'm gonna stay where I'm at because I know for me to be a man about what I'm dealing with, sometimes it just takes silence. You don't need to speak on everything that comes out. And that's what I was taught coming up.
And I think that comes with age, learning that, because that's, you know, I'm in my era of everything don't need a battle. Everything don't need to be spoke on. And that's another thing that new school don't have is conflict resolution. These kids don't have no conflict resolution because we got into fights, but we use books, desks, you know, need be. They bring guns and knives.
Yeah.
Getting mad at everything. You can't, what they call it, Jones now. You can't Jones on a child. They sensitive. They ready to fight. They ready to come back to shoot you.
And I never seen so many depressed kids.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what do you all think that's about? I mean, the level of kids that
like, how do you learn about depression at a young age like that?
I mean,
you ain't paying no bills nowhere.
Now they got counselors. See, when we was coming to school, we had counselors, but the counselor every now and then told us if we were going to college or not, how many credits we had to pass the high school. But now they got counselors, take them out the class and come and talk to them, put it on the paper. What's your problem? They got a whole therapy session in school. We didn't get that. Therapy? What? From a counselor? Child, please. We didn't grow up with talking about mental health.
I don't understand.
They just keep it funky.
And then they sit there, tell them, all right, just sit down and just breathe. Breathe. Let out the negative energy so that you can go back in class and focus.
Cut up some more.
Boy, I'm over there steaming. I'm over there cussing so bad in my mind because I'm like, boy, if y'all don't get a belt, get a stick or something, wear his ass out, boy. so he can come back in the classroom and get right, because he can't get right now. The way you talking right now, they ain't finna get him right.
They ain't gonna get him right.
He breathing all right. He breathing. He plotting on his next move. That's what he doing.
He just calming down right now, because see, now they know I'm gonna come to school, act a fool in class.
Exactly.
He's gonna take me out. I'm gonna get my therapist session. I'm gonna get my Coke and chip, and I'm then.
And check this out.
I'm gonna be back in there.
The new school kids gonna tell you they ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Exactly.
That's right.
They tell you that.
That's right.
All day.
And I said, I'm gonna call you. My mama and daddy, they ain't do nothing to me.
They know how to play it.
Oh boy, they know how to do it. They know how to do it.
They're not scared of anybody. Just these new school kids.
My daddy don't be there anyway though. He down the road with Miss Susan. I'm like, how you know all that?
They come and tell all your business. See, we knew better. First of all, we weren't coming in there telling nobody business. Because if they got back to the house, we know what time it was. Mm-hmm. Second of all, we ain't even have no relationship with our teachers to be telling them our business. We ain't going there and talk about our mama whooped us. What?
Man, I used to be wept up. My grandma would tell me, like my mama and grandmama, but it was famous for this here. Go outside and get me a switch.
Right.
And I had to go out there to the boy, and I had to go out there and find me old dead. I tried to find the most dead limb I could find.
They send you back outside.
And boy, I bring back a dead limb, boy. They send me right back outside. But you better get a good one this time, boy. It'll be more licks. Boy, I was scared then, boy. I had to go out there, boy. I had to get the best limb for him. Tear it off the coat. We had a peach tree in that backyard. Them peach tree limbs, oh my God.
Not the peach tree.
Boy, them things are limber, boy.
You had to go out and...
Boy, I had the marks all down my leg and everything. I had to come to school, but I had to try to cover them up because I ain't want the kids, my friends to see them. I ain't want to know I got my ass whooped at home, you know.
My grandma picked up anything she could find.
Yeah.
One time it was a water gun.
Water gun.
Oh my God. What?
Fly swatter.
Fly swatter. Yeah, I remember them too.
This was accessible.
Extension cord.
You think you going to school telling on that? Because I came home minding grown folk business. And she said, ain't you got, because they ain't call it homework back then, they call it lesson. Ain't you got a lesson to do? And I must have said the wrong thing. A water gun. Boop, upside the head.
You better get that lesson.
I'm upside the head. Ooh,
yes, because you came home, you got at the table, and you did what you were supposed to do. TV, because you ain't have but one TV in the house. That's first place. Now we got TV in the kitchen, TV in the living room, TV in the bedroom. We ain't have all that.
But I mean, one time I back talked my grandmama one time, boys, and boy, I had a big mistake in my life. I ain't never did it again. She was like 70 something then, and boy, she was getting on me, boy, and I got mad. God damn it! It was just, who you talking to? Well, my grandma went in the room, boy. I thought she was gonna get the gun, boy, because I was trying to. Cause my grandma had the doors locked where you couldn't really get out the house. Mm-hmm. So, boy, I'm trying to get to that back door, boy. My grandma gonna come up with a crowbar.
A crowbar?
Hit me right down the shoulder, boy. I'm gonna tell come down hard. Boom! I just went down. I said, but you know what? I ain't mess with him. When I say she hit me so hard, she had all my respect. I like, oh boy, I can't cut up in here. And I was the one to tell everybody, y'all better stop. I like old slave now. You gonna get you. Y'all better stop.
Do you think? So from here, from you all's childhood experiences, when I put them together,
they were traumatizing, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that's what kids are lacking?
Yeah.
Kids ain't
the discipline.
They're not, right. The discipline. They don't know how to stay in a child's place. You know, nowadays we teach our children to have a voice, and that's okay, you know, because we didn't have voices when we were growing up. What the adults said, that was it. That was Bible, whether we agree with it or not. Right. Nowadays, we teach our kids to, you know, and I'm a product of the new generation of teaching. You know, I've always told my daughter, if you don't like the way I made you feel, or if I said something wrong, to tell me. And I think they done kicked it up a notch, you know, because I was a parent that, you know, taught that. I didn't do a whole lot of whooping my child, you know, because I didn't have to, you know, she understood with me telling her something. So it wasn't a whole lot of you know, whooping and stuff like that, because I guess, you know, I just grew up different. But nowadays, I don't know if we need to go back to that, or we're in a generation where, you know, and can we really do it? Because like I said, these kids are coming to school And if they have a whip on them, like teachers have to report that.
Oh, we have
like
to
if they are saying something is foul is going on in the house, it could be just a whooping, but it has to be reported. And I think the government has taken that role from the parent, and we just got a lot of loose kids, and not to say that beating your kid is gonna get them in shape, because like I just said, I didn't have to do that to my child, but she understood when I said to do something, that was gold. That's what you do. So there's a lack of something. Friendship. I didn't try to be a friend to my child. I'm your parent. And I just think it's just too much friendship. I wasn't friends with my mother. I wasn't, and now that I look back on it, I could say, oh, my grandmother was my best friend, or like something like that. But that's not how I was raised. It may be, I can look at her as my best friend because she gave me wisdom. She gave me advice, but it was no tolerance. There was no tolerance. And it's just too much tolerance that we give our children too much freedom.
Do you all think that kids now have more to deal with? To kind of piggyback on the depression and the anxiety.
Kids ain't dealing with nothing.
Okay.
Well, they have more access to the world.
Okay, right.
They
That's
have
the thing.
Social media. They have more access to social media.
And they're dealing with more adult things, so they don't have the tools to handle what they're dealing with at this age.
These kids now, is a lot of them, see, versus, I'm going to just use me for an example. Growing up, it wasn't no such thing as we had no access to the world. Our world was our imagination. That was our world. And then on top of that, I come from a working family. We had acres of land out there that we had to garden and till and grow, because we ate. Because like I told y'all before, I didn't know a grocery store existed until the age of 15. I ain't know no such thing as a grocery store. I walked to the grocery store, I was amazed. Like, wow, look at all this food in here.
Yeah.
But all our food was in the backyard. So we grew up working, which was good for me because it always kept me throughout my life. Like, boy, you got to keep a job. You got to keep working. You got to keep grinding. That's the way you're going to make it. Versus these kids today, they're going on the job now. If they don't like it, I ain't doing that. And they'll sit there and find other ways of making money, where there's all types of ways of making money now, because it was unheard of for a 20-something-year-old to have $250,000 or $1 million, stuff like that. You never heard of that, I mean, like it's crazy, but how y'all get all this money? But that's what that's where they are now, is that they're more about trying to get into the limelight of things. They want to appear. They want all the attention, because I see them all the time. And the videos I hate the most, I have to throw this, not part of the subject, but I just hate seeing this. I hate to see people put themselves on camera and they're going out giving food or money to the needy out there. I don't like that. That's
you think that's a part of the clout chasing
it is
culture? It is.
It's part of it. You ain't got to show everybody your good. Your good will be seen as to how you carry yourself. Your character. You have your character show it all. You for me for you to do that, you already got something messed up about you already, because you're trying to force the people to like you in some type of way. Whether let's let them come in willingly to like you.
And like we talk about all the time, we live in a popcorn society, and that's where the kids are at now. Just to piggyback what you said about going on a job, if they don't like it, they quit. I do like that nowadays the kids are very tenacious. I think we weren't like that. We weren't built like that. Like I said, what a grown-up said, that's what was going to happen. But they're more tenacious for us, how they want to learn, or things that, that we were taught. We talked about Christianity. Now they challenge Christianity. We, just different things that we probably wasn't bold or brave enough to stand up on, they do. Now their approach may be a little different, but I do like that they, go out and, they kind of stand on things that we wouldn't stand on. They standing on business.
But I think like Mr. Coleman was saying, they have access to so much now, and they don't have the tools to actually navigate the world with being so open to seeing the world. But yeah, they are tenacious. They challenge everything, but they can't handle life.
That's true.
And they think that everything is supposed to come so quickly. And because of the disappointment of not being able to get the Bugatti or the Ferrari at 22, then we have the depression and the anxiety. And you can't handle life. That's not how life works. You got to work for things.
And although, like, we probably, they may look at how we were raised. Oh, it's very, very traumatic. It's affected the mental health. But we came out, I think, pretty good because, we now know we know how to pay our bills. We know, how to stay on a job or run a business. Like, we're disciplined where we don't see a whole lot of that. You didn't pop up and talk to no growing up. Like,
that was unheard of.
You couldn't even stand in their conversation.
That's what I'm talking about.
You had to leave the house. Go play outside.
Go outside.
They definitely not going outside anymore. That's out.
But I think it's the environment because, like I said, growing up, in my time, everybody worked. I've been working since the age of 8 years old. I was out in the orange grove picking oranges, and then at 10 years old, watermelon field, stuff like that, picking peanuts. That's what I grew up doing. But then, like I said, the only reason why I did that because the environment that I was in, you see other kids working, you want to do the same thing because everybody was more like trying to see who can be the more successful just by working. But then you got this new school generation is that when they look at these guys out here or guys or gals out here and they're doing different things without working so hard, ooh, how can I do that without work? Because they don't want to work hard. They're afraid to work. Trust me, I got landscaping service. I done tried many young guys out there. I done brought them out there with me. And a lot of times I go to work and come back around the house, I can't find them. I go out there in the street, they laid out there in the street.
They don't want to.
I'm like, how?
Everybody want quick money.
Quick money. That's what they want. So it's not that, well, I'm trying to say it right without trying to say all these other words.
Go ahead, Coleman, just let it out.
But it's it's not that the new school is a bad thing because I believe in this generation, we do have some quality children that are coming out of this thing right now because they are, but when they come out because I got one student right now, boy, he's doing, man, I'm so proud of him. But I didn't see him going that way. He was actually one of the bad kids. But now he's a basketball coach at the high school that he went to.
Wow.
He's also doing real estate right now. And he's doing the humanitarian thing all together one time. And I'm like, this dude, I'm like, wow. And I'm blown by that. But I guess it's all according to what you go through. I mean, my grandmama tell me all the time, if you don't experience hell now, you're going to experience it later. So
absolutely.
You get it now, it won't be so bad later. But if not, you're going to get it. And that's how it is. I think in the old school, we experienced a lot of hell as a young age because
we got to add whoop. Though. It built character.
It built character. And now we're out here, dealing with life, okay, it's good now. But then you got those that don't experience it at all. But when they get out there in life world, now I'm depressed. You're depressed because you never had nobody stay on you. You need to be pressed to take the D off.
And that's what I'm saying when it comes to these sports, how sensitive. I just never imagine how sensitive these kids are. I'm just going back to the sports because, that's where you can have your more flexibility. Like, activities they are part of building character. And these parents come at you, oh, my child is not playing. And our parents didn't do that. Your child not playing because, baby, this not their sport. They not that good. Just because they got a uniform, you pay some money doesn't mean that they play.
Well,
and they fight.
Yes.
They come in and fight the coach.
And your child whining because, they don't want to run. They don't want to, it's so much going to. Exactly. And this spills over into life.
It sure does. Because when you're faced with the challenges of life, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to fold and say you have anxiety, say you have depression? And let us be clear before we get any comments. There are people who do go through depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
But a lot of the kids, they just don't have the tools to deal with life. And as a result, they're saying that they are depressed or they feel like a teacher talks to them.
We're telling them that they are. The professional is telling them your baby is depressed. They don't know what that is.
That's true.
I don't know. I just think sometimes sometimes in these schools they bring a child to the point to where they're depressed. It's almost to me like it's a setup. Like, because me, I always compare the school to the prison system anyway. So that's been my thing the whole time. But I look at how some of the teachers interact with some of these kids. It's like, to me, like you setting them up. Like all that swaying and pampering down and trying to talk to you with these calm and elusive words. I don't know. It's just not working. I mean, because even my classroom, like I said, I had a unique way of teaching, but it worked. I ain't had no problem. I maybe had one or two knuckleheads, and then one or two. Then the one that called me almost get fired. That's it. But other than that, I ain't had no problem with too many kids because I did the old school way with them. Not really the old school way, because I did come into the new a little bit because I had to become a social media buff to understand their mind, understand what they're thinking. And then when I start talking some of that stuff from the social media, they really want to relate with you.
You can't get them off of you.
Can't get them off. Can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
They get a lot of this stuff too from the social media, because my daughter, she was in that wave with the
emo kids.
What's the emo kid?
The emo kids. They call them emo children, where they wear the all black and they're real somber.
I call them gothic.
Girl, you need to go outside and get some fresh air. You ain't having no inside. One summer she was down there in Alabama, and the grandparents they change up when they had these grandbabies. They get a little soft. She down there. I don't want to go too much into it because she gonna kill me by telling some of her business. But I was like, girl, y'all, she'll tell me sometime, Mom, you could be a little insensitive about some things. And, I had to, because I'm in my era and we didn't have these type of things that these kids experience. Girl, go outside and get some fresh air. You all right?
You come back.
Yeah, but, it's definitely different. I will say that. Well, but Joy, we ain't talk about you and your upbringing. You kind of up here with the new kids.
Yeah. So growing up, my parents didn't spank me. I think
spank
or whoop.
What you say?
Spank.
Oh, that's cute.
My parents didn't spank me. My mother. Both of my parents. I knew that when they told me to not do something, I didn't do it. Because I wouldn't have teeth. Like that's just what I knew would happen if I would do certain things. But I had great relationships with my parents. I knew that they were my parents, but we were also friends, I guess. If that makes sense. Like we would go out and do different things together like that.
There were people that you could trust.
Yes. Yes. Like they just wouldn't let me just do whatever I wanted to do.
Do you think that parents, because you're on the child, right?
Yes.
And you have on child.
And I am one.
Yeah. So do you think that parents with one children, not really too much complications too much, versus parents with multiple children?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for me growing up, my dad worked at night, so my mother would come home and she would sit and help me with my homework every single night. But that was because I had the luxury, or she had the luxury of only having one child. Now, if she had multiple children, I can't imagine what it might have been some upbringing.
It would have been some spankings.
It would have been, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a product of a single mother, though.
Yeah.
Right.
So where Joya had that 2-parent home, my daughter didn't have that. So, I had to grind.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the kid part of it, though.
What you mean?
Versus, like, you got one child there. But let's say if you have multiple children, like another child, would you think there'll be some spankings then? Or whoopings?
Probably.
Yeah. Because you only deal with that one child, so it's really not too much labor to deal with that one versus dealing with multiple children in the house.
Yeah, I think that is a factor.
I still believe that you can discipline a child without spanking them.
I don't. I whooped all mine.
Okay, now they coming for you because they're going to relate. I've had people say, beating a child is, what you were trained in slavery.
I don't argue with them already.
Wait. What they say now?
Trained in slavery.
That's where we get it from.
Yeah.
but I disagree with it. I think every child need to ask.
What they say, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. It says it right there.
And a lot of church folks will go back with you and say that's not what that means.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you what not mean. But if you look at but look what spare the rod getting us right now.
It's a lot of children.
The results are there. So
the facts are in.
They're out of control.
They out of control.
My children, I'm proud of them. They're doing really well. But that's because I tore that ass up. I didn't go for it in my house, and I had plenty of my house. I had a whole squad in my house, but I dealt with it. But all of them, because
you want to make sure you are raising good humans to go into this world.
Exactly.
I can look at my daughter and I'm like, I could pat myself on the shoulder, not to brag, but I have a good human going out into the world. And there were times that she had to, because she in this new generation with bullying and everything, the way that I would handle it is not the way that she could handle it, because it's just, we're living in a different times. I think the bullying now, they take it to the max.
And then you have the social media piece as well. It wasn't just, saying, oh, okay, I don't like her shoes, or I don't like her hair.
Cyberbullying.
It's cyberbullying. That's
how
they're taking it to a whole nother level now.
Hey, I ain't letting nobody online bother me.
But what kind of people, and that's what I'm saying, you have this child and they're out there destroying another person. That's the upbringing. It all goes back to the parents. I don't care what subject you're talking about. If you have children, you are responsible for your child. The device that they have, they don't pay any bills. They don't have a job. It's up to you as a parent.
And these parents are getting younger and younger.
And the grandparents are getting younger
and younger. Because I see videos every now and then with the grandparent, with the grandmama and the mama and the daughter. And I'm sitting there looking at it like, okay, well, which one's the grandmama? I don't even know which one.
We went in Atlanta, but they had the old school hip hop, old school part or something.
You can't even tell what.
Listen, the grandmas had the heels, the lashes. I mean, they had it all out. I'm like, boy, my grandma looked nothing like this.
Not either.
See, my grandma back in my day, boy, you could always tell when they're around. Like they had that smell on them.
Wait, what?
That smell.
Let's go and wrap this up.
They did.
What's the smell called?
I'm talking about the perfume they wear.
Oh, like old women perfume.
It's like all grandma wear the same perfume.
That's true.
And you can smell it. Like, I said, well, somebody old nearby.
Yeah.
If I smell it now, I'd be like, oh, that's what they old over there, bro.
And that's the thing. We don't have those. Them grandmamas gone, baby.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wisdom anymore.
Them grandmamas is gone.
Right.
Well, thank you. Did I
close.
Am I? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us again. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that great stuff. Again, just thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe and follow us at Real Teachers of Atlanta. Got to see you there.
We got the queens in the house, y'all.